Hi, I'm Pierre from Paul Cycle. Today I'm going to show you guys how to fix a flat. First things first, you're going to need a few tools. You're going to need a pump. You're also going to need a tire lever, the right size tube. Things you might want to solo carry. If you don't want to use a pump, you can use a CO2 adapter and a CO2 cartridge. And the other things you should carry are also the tire boots and a little patch kit. There's more on that later though. So you got your flat. You're gonna want to take the wheel off the bike. Once you've taken the wheel off the bike, if you're on the road, you can either put the bike on the ground. You can flip it upside down. If you choose to do that, just be careful not to scratch or damage anything that could be on the bars. I'm thinking accessories, computers, lights, or anything like that. If you're mountain biking or if you're near a tree that has a handy branch, you can use those as a saddle like this and just hang the bike like this. And it kind of simulates a work stand in the bike shop. So today we're in the bike shop, so we're going to use the work stand. Just going to go like this. So the first thing you want to do is you want to get your chain in the last cog, so you're going to shift all the way down like this. The reason we're doing this is just going to make it easier to take the wheel out. After you've done this, you want to open up your brake. This little lever right here on your brake lever, on your brake caliper, just bring it up. And then you want to open the quick release. So to open the quick release, what you want to do is you want to push this lever on the left-hand side of the bike down. And once you've done that, you want to start unscrewing it a little bit, but you want to be holding it on this side. So once you're doing this, enough. You don't have to completely take it out. Your wheel's going to come right out. You just push down, pull on the chain, and then your wheel is off. Once you've got the wheel off the bike, you always want to work opposite of the cassette. The reason for that is that you don't get dirty. You're going to take your tire levers. They usually come in packs of 3. I only use 2. I always work opposite of the valve. You get a little bit more slack in a tire like that. So you're going to put these in between the tire and the rim like this. You're going to push them down. Once you've done this, you can use your hand to kind of push the bead off the tire like this. If you don't want to do that, you can use another tire lever and go like this or like this all around and work your way around the tire. So to take the tube off, you're going to need to take the cap off and a little nut here. Pull this out. Before you put the new tube, you want to find the cause of the flat. So what you're going to want to do, use your pump, put a little bit of air in that tube. And what we're looking is any kind of damage, the hole. Want to see what caused that flat. So you're going to run your hand through the tube. If you can't find anything, you're going to inspect your tire. When you run your hand in the tire, you got to be careful. If there's glass or any sharp edges in there, you don't want to cut yourself. But you want to find them. You want to make sure you look at it and inspect the tire. See if there's no holes in it. At the same time, you take a look at the rim strip. Make sure everything's lined up correctly. Once you've done that and you're sure that everything is okay, that's when you want to take your new tube. You're going to open this up. You want to put a little bit of air in it just to give it some shape. It's going to make it a little bit easier to install it. You're going to start by putting the valve in. And then before you start reinstalling the tire, what you want to do is you want to put the tube inside the tire like this. So you're working your way around this way. And once you've done this, you can start slowly with your hands working the bead of the tire over the rim. And whenever I'm doing this, I'm trying to, as much as possible, not finish at the valve because the rim's going to be a little bit tighter at that spot. And this is a step you always want to do by hand. You always want to finish this by hand because if you do it with the tools, you always risk damaging your spare tube. And if you do so, well, you're out of a spare tube. And that's when your patch kit comes in handy. The tire boots, these little guys, let's say when you're inspecting your tire, you found a really big hole in your tire. They're there to fix that. It's a very temporary fix, but it'll get you home. So To put the wheel back on, what you want to do is you want to get your chain lined up on that last gear, and then pushing it down on the derailleur like this and pulling up, it's going to put your wheel right back in. I'm holding the wheel with my leg right now, but I'm also using both hands for the quick release, so I'm holding this side fixed and I'm just tightening up this nut here. And when I'm closing the quick release, I want to make sure that I start getting tension when I'm lifting up the lever right here, and I want to get some tension halfway through. And I want to make sure it's all the way in. Once you've done that, you also want to make sure you've closed your brake properly. Now one of the final steps, you want to put air in the tire. Using your hand pump. Now the problem with these hand pumps is that you can't measure the amount of air you've put in. The only way to do so is to kind of gauge it like this and feel the front tire and compare. So this pump is just for emergency. It's not best case scenario. What you might want to do is either head back home or head to the nearest bike shop. See if you can use a floor pump right there. Once you've got the proper air pressure, last thing you want to do is you want to put the bike in a slightly easier gear so you don't get stuck on your hard gear. And that's it. On a side note too, always make sure you don't leave your old tubes on the road. Pack them up with you, put them in New Jersey. Some bike shops have recycling programs, so you can bring them there. At Paul Cycle we do, so we'll be glad to take your old tubes and we'll put them in a recycling program. That's it.